The Song of Iron and Light. They found Earth by accident. The Ilari were a people of glass and light. Luminous beings with skin like liquid crystal and voices that shimmered across frequencies no human ear could hear. They had mapped half the spiral arm of the galaxy, cataloging 1,000 worlds, all peaceful, all bound by the accord of silent harmony. War was a myth to them. Violence was an ancient embarrassment. Then they found us, the human race, blue planet, class M biosphere. Species designation still pending was discovered when a long-range survey probe caught the flare of a nuclear detonation. The Ilari, horrified, sent an envoy ship. That's when Ambassador Sarith met the humans. They were noisy, they were scarred, and they smiled too much. They spoke loudly, laughed loudly, argued constantly, and yet, somehow, they built cities that touched clouds, flung machines across their solar system, and still found time to make songs about heartbreak. Sarith was fascinated and terrified. They are unstable, said Scholarveth, watching footage of a human boxing match. They strike each other for sport. Sarith tilted her head, crystalline face flickering. And yet, they stop when one yields. They call it honor. Veth made a clicking sound of disapproval. Honor is a poor word for self-inflicted harm. Sareth watched longer. Two men embraced, after the fight, bleeding, bruised, but laughing. Or perhaps, she said quietly, it is courage. The Ilari did not understand courage. They had never needed it, but they would soon. The Vrothsun came without warning. They were the locusts of the stars, devourers of biospheres, an ancient hunger given form. They fell upon peaceful worlds like night, insectoid, merciless. The Accord worlds, bound by their vow of pacifism, could only flee. They sent a call for help. The humans answered. Captain, Myra Chen was the first human officer to stand in the Hall of Harmony on Ilari Prime. She was clad in matte black armor, the flag of Earth sewn onto her shoulder. Behind her stood 30 ships of the Iron Fleet battleship ships, carriers, and destroyers, bristling with railguns and plasma coils. The Ilari whispered among themselves. Such machines were barbaric. Ambassador Sarith, Myra said with a smile. We got your distress signal. Sarith's luminous form flickered. You would fight for us. Myra shrugged. Someone's got to. But Vrathun's swarm descended on the world of Terith too. Billions of drones, black as night, claws like razors. They came in endless waves, blotting out the stars. The Ilari evacuation ships fled, but the Iron Fleet held the line. Myra's voice roared across com channels. Gunners, full broadside, light them up. Human ships burned brighter than stars. Rail slugs tore through Vrathun. Plasma torpedoes blossomed like suns. For every human ship destroyed, 10 enemy craft fell, and through it all, human soldiers sang. Old songs, war songs, ballads of defiance, of home, of fire and rain and love and loss. Sarith, watching from orbit, wept light. They are dying, she whispered. Veth, beside her, said in awe, they are living. When the smoke cleared, Terith too still stood. Half the Iron Fleet was gone. The survivors limped home, scarred and battered. But they had done what no Accord world had thought possible. They had stopped the swarm, Sarith greeted. Captain Mira in the Hall of Harmony. You fought monsters, Sarith said. You could have fled, you could have hidden. Mira smiled tiredly. Yeah, but that's not really our style. Sarith hesitated. Why? Why risk so much for strangers? Myra's eyes softened. Because once, we were monsters too, and someone had to decide we could be better. Word spread through the Accord worlds. The humans had stood against extinction and won. Young Ilari began to imitate them. They formed defense guilds. They learned strategy, engineering, medicine under fire, and they began to write songs. For the first time in 10,000 years, the Accord did not just survive. It fought back. They called it the reignition, the rebirth of courage, and they called the humans the pickers of iron and light. A century later, in the archives of the Accord, there is a statue on the capital world, that is of a human woman, holding a helmet under one arm, her other hand resting on the shoulder of a luminous being of glass. The inscription reads, in 100 languages, they brought us war, and in doing so, gave us hope. In honor of humanity, the children of fire. And sometimes, when the twin suns set over Ilari Prime, you can still hear the faint echo of an ancient earth song, drifting through the halls of crystal and light.